Welcome back to the Real Talk podcast. It's that time of year again.
Oh, yeah.
You know, love is in the air.
Love is in the air.
You know, everybody's wearing red. Flowers everywhere.
Love is in the air.
Friggin' Walmart just has chocolate everywhere. It's the best.
It's Walmart.
I used to love Valentine's Day just because I could get chocolate.
Chocolate.
Like, you could just get chocolate everywhere for cheap.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, chocolate is a cheap thing to get.
Yeah, but then when it's Valentine's Day, it's easy to get it. And it's like, yeah. Oh, yeah, I'm getting this for my girlfriend.
Yeah.
I have like 5 girlfriends because I'm getting like so much chocolate. I just stock up on 4 sets of chocolate for myself and then 1 set for the girl.
It's like, oh, is this for a special someone? It's like, yeah, my stomach.
So in light of it almost being Valentine's Day, it's gonna be in a few days, whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
The cons of uploading on Fridays at 8 a.m.
Whoop-de-doo.
But in light of that, we're gonna talk about something that I'm very passionate about: Bollywood versus Hollywood romances.
Romance.
Because I grew up watching Bollywood movies, and I grew up watching a lot of romances because that's really all we had in the house. And, you know, we're just going to go through some of the differences between the Bollywood film, the Bollywood style of romance, and the Hollywood style of romance, you know?
Yeah.
So if this is your first time viewing our channel, hi. If you enjoy what you're watching, feel free to leave a like, maybe a comment. If you really like us, maybe subscribe, you know? And then if you want to check us out on our socials, we have an Instagram, a TikTok, and there you can see some shorter clips just to see some of our funnier moments. Give us some love there. And yeah, stick around because, you know, I think past the 2-minute mark is when we really hit our stride.
Yeah, I think we get like even better after the 2-minute mark.
Because YouTube Analytics tells us nobody sticks around past 2 minutes.
You gotta have some patience, people.
Yeah, come on, man.
Just a little bit.
It's the Real
Just
Talk
a little
podcast with Josh and Felipe. What's not to love?
What's not to love? What's not to love? So what do you like? What do you like about Bollywood films, specifically Bollywood romances? What got you into it?
What got me into it? I don't think that's a question I can answer because I can't really put into words what I like about it. It's more like I just grew up with it, you know.
Yeah.
I'm from a Caribbean island called Trinidad, and in Trinidad we consume a lot of like Indian media, you know. Bollywood films. We listen to a lot of music from the films and all that. You know, there's always a guy driving a truck around with a big ass speaker, playing like the latest songs and everything.
Yeah.
He's usually there in the morning next to the doubles man, the guy on his bike, and he'd ride around with a cart, and they'd make doubles on the road. My uncle actually just came back from, or not just came back, like a week or two ago. Came back from Trinidad.
Nice.
No COVID. Don't worry. Did his PCR test. I didn't see him, so don't worry, guys.
Okay.
But yeah, I was like, yo, is the doubles guy still doing his thing? And he's like, yeah. And I was like, holy shit. But yeah, so that's just something like Trinidadian people enjoy. And then growing up, you know, I lived with my grandparents for the first 6 years of my life. My parents lived with my grandparents, and you know, we'd watch Bollywood films. You know, we'd watch something on DVD. We'd go to the flea market every now and then in Brampton, and at the flea market you get doubles. You go there for 3 things. You go there for 3 things. You go there for doubles. You go there for saris for when it's wedding season.
Oh.
And you go there for bootleg movies, man. The bootleg movie guy. It's just a stacks of illegal movies. Yo, I swear to God.
Don't say illegal movies.
The police show up. That dude is fricked. It's the sound of the police. Whoop, whoop, whoop.
Oh, my gosh.
But yeah, so I used to watch a bunch of Bollywood romances with my grandpa. He had an old DVD player in his bedroom. It was funny because I actually it was a 4-bedroom house. So it was like my mom and dad had their room. My grandpa had a room with my younger brother Matt. My older brother Brandon slept alone, and then I slept with my grandma. The reason my grandma and grandpa didn't sleep in the same bed was because when I came around, I loved my grandma. So I always slept with my grandma, and I ended up kicking my grandpa off the bed because she was like, "Boy, you're gonna crush the child," and. Yeah, so that's why my grandparents stopped sleeping in the same bed because eventually there's a baby next to my grandma.
Yeah,
my grandma's like, get off the bed, and my grandpa's sleeping on the floor, and then my parents are like, all right, we'll get a bed and put it in this room for you.
Right. Okay.
And yeah, I just watched all of them with my grandpa. You know, from the '70s, movies from the '70s, from the '50s, even all those old ones. Rishi Kapoor, Amitabh Bachchan, Raj Kapoor, and then you know, it's the early 2000s. Frickin' Shah Rukh Khan.
Shah Rukh Khan.
Yeah, my guy, my dude.
Yeah.
So,
oh my gosh.
me being the Bollywood, I was big into Bollywood back in high school.
I remember you talked a lot about Shah Rukh Khan.
I don't
You talked
look
about
back
Don
on
1.
it.
You talked about Don 2. You talked about wanting a Don 3 and stuff
Yeah,
like
we
that.
were talking about right before we started filming. You
You're
know,
just like, oh my gosh, this character backstabs this character, and then this happens, and then that happens. This is Josh describing scene by scene every Bollywood film that he's watched and telling me in class. And I
We,
thought it was pretty cool because
yeah, and
it
that's
shows your passion for this art form.
it's actually funny. I was writing a paper today for class,
Mm-hmm.
talking about anti-colonialism and just talking about like accepting. It was interesting. We were talking the paper we had to read and write about, analyze was about recognizing self-worth
Mm-hmm.
to reduce the impact of like say like colonialism taking away your ethnic heritage.
Mm-hmm.
And I wrote in my paper about how like when I was a kid, I used to I love even to this day I love Trinidadian stuff. I love Bollywood films and all this brown stuff. And my
Okay.
brothers were always the ones that were like, Josh is a fob, Josh is the fobest out of all of us, fresh off the boat.
Oh.
Yeah. And so, I wrote about that in my paper. Hey, professor. And yeah, I
That's
just grew up watching all that stuff, and
that's interesting.
I also just love romances because I'm a romantic guy. I love seeing a love story.
Mm-hmm.
My life is going to be a love story. When I started dating Carrie, all my friends was just like, somebody needs to make a movie out of Josh's life. You remember David Walters?
Yeah, he was in the music program.
Yeah,
Right?
so I remember when I was
Yeah.
telling him about like the shit I was doing to get Carrie to like me, and this guy's like, "Yo, this guy thinks his life is a movie," and like I was telling Mr. Sicoli about it, and Miss
Mhm.
Parker about it, and they're just like, "This
Aw.
guy's life is like a friggin' movie," and everyone's like, "Yo, sell your love story to Disney, sell it
Right?
to Pixar, and then they need to make a movie about it. It's the tale of Josh falling in love with Carrie and
Yeah.
all this stuff."
Yeah, that's nice.
It's funny because she's probably gonna comment something super stupid on this episode, like, "I don't even love this guy." Like she's always commenting dumb shit.
She commented on one of the videos. What did she say?
She said like Josh is annoying.
Yeah.
Love you too, babe. And even last night, she was watching our podcast. Like we were on FaceTime,
Okay.
and I'm just lying down there watching the Snyder Cut.
Okay, yeah.
And I suddenly hear us. I think it was our Brendan Fraser episode.
Oh, yes.
I hear us talking. I'm like, what the fuck was that? And she's just like, what? I'm like, turn that shit off, babe. How could you do this to me?
Oh, that's the
Love is
infamous episode of
Yeah.
Brendan Fraser.
My
Excellent.
my game back then was literally just send her memes.
Send her memes.
Send her memes, get conversation. What's your game?
What's my game?
Yeah.
It's memes, but worse.
Well, like what?
It's Joe
like,
Mama
flip-
memes.
Never mind. Don't flirt with me.
There we go. Already.
Oh yeah, remember Kiss It
need-
Right on the Pecker?
Oh, Josh.
Episode
You
3
deadly.
vibes.
That was was it episode 3?
I
said
don't think it was
that?
episode 3. It was like one of our first episodes. When we were a lot more vulgar with our language and our
Yeah.
jokes.
I feel like
Massive blank
Ooh.
vibes.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, I got some heat for that.
Got some heat for that. I
Not
think I
really
got
from these
I
guys,
think I got some heat for my
friends.
Joe Mama pickup lines. I
Really?
think. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, I was about to say, yeah, that shit was legit.
That was legit.
But yeah, I mean,
Uh,
I always just loved romances.
Mhm.
I love seeing those like movies.
Mhm.
How do you feel about romances? And have you seen a Bollywood romance?
I have seen a particular Bollywood romance film in high school. I remember.
Oh, I think I remember. I know what you're talking
Oh,
about.
you know what you're talking about? It was for I think it was for business, right, Christian? And we had to see it because I think the topic that we were dealing with was toilets in India and the lack there was.
Oh,
Yeah, the lack of
a-
toilets in India, which I thought was weird. I was like, I didn't know about this. I was like, is this a joke or something? And then it's like, no, this is legit. I was like, oh. And then we watched a movie about that,
yeah.
but it was like a romantic comedy, I think. And
Yeah, he was. Yeah, it was called like Toilet Ek Prem Kata or something.
Toilet ke
Like
Prem
I
Kata.
don't speak Hindi at all, but I think it's like Toilet a Love Story.
Toilet
Whatever
love story.
whatever the translation
What
of
an
that is.
what an interesting title that is for a
Was it
film.
good?
I thought it was all right. I mean, that was my first Bollywood film I saw. and-
Really?
Yeah, I think so.
What grade was this?
This was grade 11? Grade 11 or 12?
So
Might have
you
been
knew me for 2 years,
Yeah.
and you didn't. We talked about movies all the time back in
Yeah,
grade 10, and you
yeah.
never thought about watching a Bollywood movie once?
Josh, I think
Asshole!
you need to understand that. I
Asshole!
think you need to understand that I talk about movies a lot. I haven't seen like any other Bollywood films.
He was telling me you were talking. He's watched Nollywood films.
I've seen Nollywood films. Dude, there was this one Nollywood film I saw. It was like called something Bondage. It was not it's like this like informational film.
Oh, okay.
No, it's not like what
Like,
you think it is.
I don't know. We can go this direction, buddy.
No. But it was like made in 1992. It's 5.5 hours long.
Really?
5.5. It's on YouTube if you want to check it out. It's like Living in Bondage. It's like this informational video. Well, I say informational. There is information in it. All I'm gonna say is there's a cult involved.
Oh.
It is one of the worst movies I ever saw.
You watched the entire thing?
No.
Oh, okay.
I think I watched, I think about 2.5 hours with my friends on Discord.
You watched 2.5 hours?
I was doing work on the side.
People get upset if the movie's over 90 minutes long.
I was doing homework on the side. I was like writing an essay, and I was
Oh.
just hearing like them speaking. Was it? I guess Nigerian. Yeah, in Hollywood, Nigeria. They were speaking Nigerian, and then like the subtitles would be like, "How are you doing today? My name is Dave." And it's just like, oh my gosh, this is 5.5 hours of this.
I ever tell you I wrote a screenplay?
Get out of here! You did not write a screenplay.
I wrote a script for a movie.
You did not. What is it called?
When I was
Are you actually serious, Josh?
when I was 9 years old, I wrote 2 pages of what I thought Transformers 2 should be about. I wrote a script for Transformers
my
2
God.
on my dad's Word document, and then I forgot to save it. And that's why I abandoned it.
Oh, so it doesn't exist?
No, it doesn't exist. But I
it
thought
It probably would have been better than the actual film.
maybe.
Yeah.
Or no, it was for Transformers 3.
Oh.
So Transformers 3, what I thought
Dark of
Transformers
the
3
Moon
should
or
be.
something. Yeah.
Yeah, but back to Bollywood films. I mean, yeah, I watched a ton of them, and it was interesting to see like the differences between like the growth between like the way Bollywood films back in the 50s were,
Yeah.
back in the 70s were, and 2000. Now we're in 2010s and 2020s. I haven't seen a Bollywood movie this for the last 2 years though. That a new one,
Oh, okay.
because I only watch Shah Rukh Khan films.
You're a Shah Rukh Khan
I'm
stan.
a Shah Rukh Khan stan. I think I remember when I first met Carrie's mom.
Yep.
For prom, she literally was like, "He looks like Shah Rukh Khan." And I took that as such a compliment, because you remember how I had my hair back in high school. Like, remember with Tough?
You did have good hair when tough. Now you are.
Now I'm balding.
No, you're not bald.
I got that receding hairline, and
Yeah.
I gotta buzz my hair, man. It was pissing me off. Like I was in the washroom, and Kristen heard me go, "Jesus Christ." And I was just like, my hair was pissing me off. I was like, this shit's too long, man. I gotta buzz it
No,
again.
You could pull off the Jude Law. Like you know what Jude Law's hair is like?
Like all the way back here.
Yeah, man. I can see that. You could be like, "Whoop."
Yeah,
then
that was like that, and then the dimples, and I was like, I'm
Yeah.
Shah Rukh Khan.
I am Shah Rukh Khan.
But yeah, I grew up watching his films. Kabhi Khushi Kabhi Gham, Kal Ho Na Ho. What's that movie called? Oh, shit. Dilwale Dulhania Le Jayenge. That's a great film. Honestly, I still watch that movie unironically from time to time. It's basically about these NRI non-resident Indians. So
Okay.
like, an Indian, but like they're in Canada or they're in the
Yeah.
States or they're in. This one was in London.
Mm-hmm.
And the girl, Simran, she's like comes from a really traditional family. Her dad's like, it's very like patriarchal. Her dad's like going to work. Her mom's like kind of like, it's very like how like families were back in the 50s.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's Raj, whose dad is kind of crazy, and he's kind of crazy, and he's wild, and he's like, he's flunked out of college for like the 3rd time.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is, they're rich though, so it's like they don't really care.
Okay.
They're like, oh yeah, education doesn't fill your pockets,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
I was like, yes. And then they both, Simran, back when she was young, when she was born, her dad and her dad's best friend
Mm-hmm.
kind of like made an agreement because her dad's best friend had a son, and they were like, we should turn this friendship into a brotherhood. Let's engage our children, and then when they're of age, let's get them married.
Oh wow.
So then she was like, oh, I want to go on this trip, this European like train ride, this trip with my friends before we go to India and I get married.
Yeah.
And he was like, okay. And then Raj is like, okay, well, before I take over the dad's company, I want to go on a trip with my friends. And his dad's like, okay.
Mm-hmm.
And they go and it's become a very recognizable
Yeah.
moment in Bollywood cinema is Simran went to the wrong station
Mm-hmm.
and realized at the last minute she was at the wrong one. So she's running, and Raj gets on the train late too because he fell asleep.
Oh.
He slept in.
Yeah.
So he gets on the train while it's still moving, which I don't know how the hell that happened.
Right.
What about tickets?
That's a weird.
But anyway, he sees her running like to try to catch up to the train, and he kind of leans out of the train and holds his hand out.
Oh.
And she grabs his hand, he pulls her in, and then he does his whole like his fuckboy routine of trying to like flirt with her, puts on his sunglasses, kind of like, so have I seen you somewhere before?
Oh my
You were at Robbie's party, right? She's like, I don't go to parties. She's just not vibing with him at all.
Yeah.
And then her friends find her, and Raj goes to his friends. He's like, this girl wouldn't get off of me. She was like, look into my eyes and blah blah blah. And then Simran's telling her friends like, this guy was weird.
Yeah.
And then they just like they keep running into each other, and Roger's always like screwing with her because guys and girls, guys are always messing with girls when they like girls.
Yeah.
And eventually, I think they missed their next train to go to the next destination in the European tour.
Mm-hmm.
So they end up spending a lot of time together, and Raj falls in love with her.
Mm-hmm.
And even though she doesn't fall in love with him, but not because she doesn't like him, but more so because she feels committed to this Kuljit guy that she's engaged to marry.
Yeah. Okay.
And then that's the way the halfway point comes in. This is a
Wow.
3.5 hour movie.
3.5 hours?
Hell yeah.
Oh my god.
So then her dad finds out about her and this Raj guy.
Yeah.
And her dad like slaps her. Like
Jeez.
freaking backhands her, and
Oh
then
my
he moves them
gosh.
immediately. Like the next day, house is sold. They're on a plane to India. Raj comes to her house to see her, and the neighbor's like, "Oh, they went to India." So he goes to India to win her
Holy
back,
crap.
and it's like he goes and he kind of like meets with her family, and they don't know that he's the guy that she fell in love with on her trip.
Yeah.
And he's like trying to she's like, "We need to run away together," and he's like, "No, your father's gonna give you to me. I'm doing this the right way."
What?
And it's like he's trying to do it the honorable way.
Oh, okay.
And she's like, "No, we need to run away." Even her mom's like, "I had to her mom was in an arranged marriage too, and her mom's like, I had to give up love as well. I'm not gonna let my daughter do that. You guys need to run away." And Raj is like, "No,
Wow.
I'm doing this the right way. Before my mom died, she told me to do the right thing. I'm doing the right thing." And it's like, love always finds a way.
Love always, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
And
That's hard hitting.
I think it's
For a 3.5 hour long film, I mean, it sounds epic.
definitely should watch it. It's also funny. Obviously, lots of songs. The songs are all
Yeah.
bangers too.
Nice.
And yeah, I think actually in Bollywood and India itself, this movie came out 30 years ago now, or maybe 32 years ago now. I think it's
Oh.
95. There's a cinema in India that's still playing it in theaters. It's the longest running film of all time.
Get out of here.
Yeah, they're still playing that movie in theaters.
When did
because-
it come out, you said?
95.
95?
Yeah.
It was 27 years ago.
Yep.
Wow.
27 years. It's a good film,
Jeez.
But that's just those are the kind of movies I used to watch all the time. There was no kissing in these movies because number one, Shah Rukh Khan doesn't kiss in his films.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so he doesn't kiss in his films except for these two films, but we don't talk about them.
Yeah, you.
And then
yeah.
also just kind of wasn't a thing that you do in Bollywood, especially back in the 90s, like from the 50s up until like even the 2010s. Like there wasn't a lot of lip locks in films.
Wow.
It was kind of more of a taboo subject. There was no like in a Hollywood film. You might have like it would kind of like let you know like yeah they slept together. And there'd be like
Yeah.
the big kiss at the end of the movie.
Mhm.
But in Bollywood there was no kiss. There was a kiss on the forehead. There was a hug. There was a kiss on like the neck or something, but not in the sense of like I'm trying to fuck you. More in the sense of like
nothing like intense.
yeah, it was
It's
more like a
very-
soft like mwah.
Wow, that's an interesting thing too, because like referring back to like comparing Bollywood to Hollywood cinema, that is kind of true. Because like Hollywood cinema in the 50s
Mm-hmm.
was very like optimistic. It was very like Singing in the Rain and stuff like that, and the romance was there, but they still kissed and stuff like that. They still like it was very glorious in a way. The orchestra played when they kissed, and it was like "Bun, dun, dun," like
Yeah.
It wasn't until like late 60s, early 70s that like the MPAA ratings came in and NC-17 and rated R, and then
Yeah.
no
Well,
holds barred.
what did they start like playing porn in theaters?
Yeah,
You what?
straight up. Like there was a film called Deep Throat, which made $100 million.
I am gonna be. I want to be in a movie.
in
Go.
19. No, do not
Why?
say
Oh
that.
wait, is it actual porn?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
No. That's how graphic it was.
Jesus.
And they were able to because of the ratings and stuff. So
What were kids allowed to go see this movie?
no, because there were ratings. Josh.
Oh.
NC-17.
So that's when it just came out.
Yeah.
Oh.
The MPAA
gotcha.
ratings back in the day didn't have that. That's why most films you'd see in the 40s and 50s anybody can watch
Mhm.
because it wasn't really like there wasn't any graphic coarse language or anything like that because there
Sure.
wasn't any limitations behind that.
Mhm.
It was the limitation of you can't say these regardless. But because of the MPAA ratings, like, well, you can say fuck a few times, or hey, you can show nudity. It's like, oh, you can show that, and then it's like, oh, you can show everything, but you'll have to be NC-17 if
Yeah.
you do that, which restricts you on so many accounts in terms of your audience.
I mean, makes sense.
But the studios didn't care because, like, a movie like Deep Throat made $100 million.
Oh my God.
For 1970.
wait, I made $100 million in 1970.
Yeah.
So, like, what's that for adjusted for inflation?
Inflation, it's like close to $1 billion, if not more.
Christ.
Yeah.
Does porn nowadays make that much money?
No, because it
That's-
was harder to access back in the day.
That's true.
It's hard, yeah, because now it's like anybody can, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah, I like how we went from from Bollywood films to
To
porn.
That's
Welcome
Hollywood
to,
for you.
Welcome to the Real Talk Podcast. Don't forget to check out our Patreon.
Don't forget to check out the Patreon.
But yeah, I mean, in terms of like Hollywood romances that I love, like movies like The Notebook.
The
and
Notebook, yeah.
I'd say my favorite one is probably Hitch with Will Smith and
Hitch is a good one.
Kevin James.
Kevin James.
I think it tells a pretty solid story. But a lot of these movies do follow the same plot of like boy meets girl, they like each other, but somebody's hiding a secret, and then when the secret comes out, it's so bad that they hid it. And there's a sad song like, "Oh, so sad, they're not together," meh, 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 and then they get back together at the end.
That's usually like
Yeah.
most romances. That's why I like when a romance or a rom-com does something a little different. Just a
Yeah.
little different.
What's your favorite romance?
Well, my personal favorite, I don't know if like Punch Drunk Love counts.
Oh yeah, yeah.
With Adam Sandler, because I feel like it's a little romantic. I remember asking a prof that because like there was this writing prof that we had in first year, and he's like, "Oh, what are your favorite romantic films or whatever?" And I was like, "Punch Drunk Love," and he's like, "That's not romantic." I was like, "What are
Hey,
you
hey.
talking about?"
Hey, professor, go fornicate yourself,
Go
buddy.
fornicate yourself. Oh my god.
PG-13.
No, yeah, that's fair. But no, Punch Drunk Love was a great one with Adam Sandler because I think
Yeah.
what I found fascinating is that it showed kind of how harsh it is to like have that confidence in
What
a
do you
person.
mean?
Essentially, like Adam Sandler's trying to impress people and stuff
Yeah.
like that, but it doesn't go his way, and
Mm.
he has some issues mentally with that. There's a scene. It's one of my favorites where like he's at a restaurant. He's on a
Oh
date.
yeah.
He's on a date and he's just like, it's not going well and stuff like that. He's like, would you excuse me for a second? And like he goes to the washroom and like destroys the washroom. He's like boom, 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 and just like everything breaks and stuff like that. And then he goes back to the dinner. He's like, all right, so everything's good. And she's like, oh, what happened to your hands? I was like, I fell. And stuff like that. And then there's talking and stuff. And then the waiter walks up to Adam Sandler and is like, oh, sir, could you please come with me for a minute? And he's like, oh, yeah, sure. And they walk into another side of the restaurant. He's like, sir, the bathroom's destroyed. He's like, okay. He's like, sir, I think you did it. He's like, no, I don't think so. He's like, sir, I can see your hands bleeding. He's like, yeah, I cut myself. He's like, sir? He's like, look, I just want to go back to this, sir. He's like, please just don't. He's like, sir, I'm going to need you to get the fuck out of here. And then the scene
Did they
cuts.
actually drop an F-bomb?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, no, the film's great. Philip Seymour Hoffman's in it.
Oh, is he?
Yeah. Oh my God, he's like one of these sleazy con artists.
Yeah, I swear
that-
he plays that so often.
Yeah, but he's so good at it because
Uh-huh.
like Adam Sandler gets like he gets scammed. I can relate to that. Anyways, sorry. I figured I'd mention that. Anyway,
you poor boy.
whatever. I can relate to Adam Sandler's character in Punch Drunk Love because I too was. Anyways,
PSA: two-factor authentication for all of your devices. Trust
yeah,
us.
yeah. Anyways,
So one of us found out the hard way. Can
yeah,
you leave it in the comments if you can guess who?
yeah. I wonder who.
Yeah.
Anyways, the
Anyways.
scene. Philip Seymour Hoffman's great in it. He's like the sleazy con artist. And
Yeah.
he's like talking to Adam Sandler on the phone, and it's that famous scene. He's like, "Okay, shut up, shut up,
Oh, yeah.
shut the fuck!" Like that's the scene. And Adam Sandler's like, "I'm gonna find you. This is ridiculous. You can't be doing this to me. This is mean. You're mean." And he's like telling him to shut the fuck up. And he's like, shut up, just shut up.
I watched that clip on Instagram. It was a reel on Instagram, and I
Yeah.
watched it like 17 times.
It's one
Shut
of
the fuck up!
It's-
Shut up!
like Philip Seymour Hoffman was so great in that.
It's like what? It's like I always watch like these compilations of Al Pacino just freaking out like,
Oh, Al
"Give me
Pacino.
all you got! Give me all you got!"
Glenn Glary, Glenn Ross. Have you heard of that one?
Of course I have.
One of the best Al Pacino freakouts.
Yeah.
But going back to romances, not freakouts, but I kind of like Punch Drunk Love because of that. It does something different with the concept of romance rather than going for the Humphrey Bogart.
Yeah.
Like, oh, she's looking at you, kid. It's like, do something different.
Yeah, I mean, there's this great Bollywood film again, Shah Rukh Khan. All the Indian viewers are gonna be like, "This guy doesn't watch any Bollywood films. He only watches this Shah Rukh Khan." And it's like, yeah, I get it. Okay, I'm not cultured. Leave me alone. There's only so many hours in a day.
Hey, yeah.
But Shah Rukh Khan has gone on record to say like this is his favorite film that he starred in.
Okay.
It's this film called Kabhi Ha Kabhi Na,
Hmm.
which is basically like sometimes yes, sometimes no.
All right.
It's basically about this guy, and it's what I appreciate about the film is it kind of shows like I saw it on a list of like best movies to get through a breakup because it shows that like you can try your hardest, but sometimes shit just doesn't work out. You know,
Yeah.
it's like he's in love with this girl, and she's more like they're in a band, right? They're all in a band, and he
Right.
loves the girl, but she's more in love with this other guy in the band, and he's just trying the entire time to make her love him and like try to make her not love his friend. And it's like at one point it does work. It does work. She starts to like like him, and then she finds out like he orchestrated this entire situation to like make her love him. And she's like, "You manipulated me. You know, you're an asshole."
Yeah.
And yeah, it doesn't work out in the end. I mean, it ends on a happy note, but it's like yeah, sometimes stuff just doesn't go your way.
Hmm.
Sometimes a girl will reject you, and you can't do anything about it. But it's whatevsky.
Whatevsky indeed.
Yeah. So
That's a
it's
refreshing take on the genre as well.
yeah, it's nice. I don't know, and I also like those like those more comedic ones like "I Love You, Man" or "Forgetting Sarah Marshall."
Oh my gosh.
I just love Jason Segel because of How I Met Your Mother.
Jason Segel is definitely great. I never realized he was in like those types of rom-coms, but now I'm looking back, it's like, yeah, I remember.
Yeah,
Love
I
you,
also
man.
just love him because of How I Met Your Mother. Marshall Erickson. Marshall's my favorite character. Marshall, I think it's everybody's opinion that Marshall is the best character in How I Met Your Mother.
Okay.
You watch How I Met Your Mother?
No.
Ah,
I
Kristen, do you
know.
watch How I Met Your Mother?
But
Ah,
I know I've seen the memes. I've seen it's like The Office where everyone posts and stuff. Specifically Neil Patrick Harris's character,
mm-hmm.
which I find him to be very funny in it as well.
Yeah, yeah.
But
I-
it's a show that I'm thinking of watching soon.
Yeah, no. Everybody I talk to is always just like when we talk about our shows, like in The Office, and they're like, "Oh, which character would we be?" They're always just like, "Josh is a Marshall," and when we talk about Brooklyn Nine-Nine, they're like, "Josh is a Terry or maybe a Jake because of the whole romantic." What? Jake?
I could see Jake. Not
Fair enough.
not Terry. I would see Jake. That's
They
just
usually
me
say
though.
Terry because I'm obsessed with Carrie all the time, and Terry's
Oh, it
just always about his
rhymes.
wife. No, it's because
I'm
Terry's
just
obsessed
kidding.
with his wife and
Terry's
his kids.
obsessed with your Yeah, sorry.
So it's like that. But it is what it is. But yeah, I think I saw an article. There's a lot of articles that say that Marshall and Lily are considered the most realistic incarnation of a romantic couple ever put on TV.
Oh,
Because
nice.
they start off the series is 9 seasons long, but they
Yeah.
start off episode 1 they're engaged,
Okay.
and it's like they're it's not like they have real problems. Oh, career decisions. Are we
Mhm.
ready to have a kid?
Yeah.
Shoot, our credit card debt is crazy. They have legit problems that a lot of these TV shows kind of don't go into because the end of the series is when the guy gets the girl. You
Yeah.
know,
Dang.
so I liked that. It also like went into this whole like topic of love is unity versus love is a journey. Love is unity is like, oh, the guy meets the girl and they live happily ever after versus the guy met the girl and they learned to love each other, they grew together and fell in love and blah blah blah. What? Oh, because somebody texted me. I have my phone. I put my phone on do not disturb,
There we go.
but my,
Yes.
my notifications are still coming on.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? I think that's really nice. Holy crap! I just went blank. I'm not even kidding.
Neves has been drinking. Neves is also asleep because he worked earlier today.
I worked.
I thought you were
early
gonna do the
today.
outro. I was like, this is a bad idea.
No, yeah, no. I wasn't thinking of an outro. I was thinking of like just a topic.
Because Christian's telling us to wrap it up, and it's like, yo.
But like,
So Neves needs to go to sleep,
oh
guys.
my gosh,
We're gonna
I'm
sing
so
him
sorry.
to sleep.
Josh, go right ahead.
If you guys enjoyed this episode, check out our Instagram, check out our Patreon, check out our TikTok to see some of our funnier clips from previous episodes in case you haven't seen them. Leave a like, leave a comment. Let us know what your favorite romances are. Do you watch Bollywood films? Do we have any viewers from India? Let us know in the comments.
Yeah.
And am I a pleb for liking Shah Rukh Khan over other actors like Amir Khan and Salman Khan? Because I don't really like those guys.
Oof.
And let us know in the comments. Until next time, happy Valentine's Day. Do something special. Peace.
Peace.